EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for December 27th, 2018. We're going to have a mostly sunny start today, and I think we're going to start seeing some clouds filter in later in the day from southwest to northeast, and we'll have a continued increasing clouds this evening, and then rain moving through late evening into the overnight. I do think there's an opportunity for some far northeastern portions of our coverage area. This would be just extreme northeastern Pennsylvania to start off as a very brief bout of freezing rain, and that will go over to very quickly over to rain. I think you might have a 1 to 2 hour window in there where you could have some icing right around midnight or thereabout. So if you are out late overnight tonight, you will have a very brief period of freezing rain before even there it transitions over to plain rain, and that's going to go right into Friday. Here is that system approaching from the west. Here's late afternoon, and then here is the evening hours starts to come in from the west here. The bulk of the precipitation is not going to fall initially. It's going to come in later at night, and that'll be so any of that freezing rain that starts very early in these areas right here are going to be with lighter precip. So I don't expect this to be an issue, just some trace amounts of ice going over to rain. It'll melt quickly as soon as the rain takes over and the temperature is sufficiently warm. And then we have rain coming through on mainly Friday morning. I don't think this is going to be an all-day thing, and this wraps up in the early to mid-afternoon hours from west to east, and then that should be out of here. Maybe just a residual shower behind that, but other than that, Friday is mainly a morning deal, morning and early afternoon, and then we start to wrap up from west to east. So here's the NAM high-res future simulated radar, and I'm going to start this off at 8 p.m. You don't see much going on here just yet, but off to our west, you have some precipitation starting to move in. Again, you see this line up here. This is the 32-degree line. Anything north of that is below freezing up in these areas, so you have to watch that as it comes in, and it's going to come down to timing of those showers coming in. You can see it's just showers at first. This is looking at midnight now. And again, right up in these areas, right up here, maybe some colder spots up here in Wyoming and Sullivan County also, maybe Bradford, northern Lycoming, and then up here in Susquehanna, Wayne, and then Carbon, Monroe, Pike. If you get anything in here early enough, you could have a little bit of freezing rain at the onset, and then as you go in through the night, here is looking at 1 a.m., and then there's 4, and you don't see any all the ice is confined into into the lower Hudson Valley at this point, and not in our coverage area. So I do think there's that window of opportunity from like maybe midnight to 3 a.m. or so for some icing up in those colder spots, but then it goes over to rain everywhere, and that continues into Friday morning. Again, this goes into, here's looking at 7 a.m., here's 10 a.m., and then here's 1 p.m. You have maybe some heavy rain involved with this for some areas as it moves through, but you see it starts to taper off in the mid-afternoon hours. Here is looking at 4, and you saw some residual rain here for our southeastern areas, but already starting to dry out here in the interior. And then you just have a residual shower left over after that point going into early evening tomorrow, but then that should be wrapping it up and getting it out of here. And then that's it for that system. Again, this is primarily a rain system that we're dealing with this system, and just some icing in far northern northeastern portions of our coverage area in far northeastern Pennsylvania, where the higher elevations exist. And then once we get this out of here, we are partly cloudy here on Saturday. We're going to have a secondary front move through that's going to lower temperatures. Your high is going to be achieved earlier in the day, and then they're going to drop after that point. Once we get into Sunday, now we're watching this system off to our south, and may have produced a snow event across the area. The models have trended away from that. It looks like it's stayed too far south. There's still a northern piece of energy that's going to move through, give you a few snow showers across our central and northern areas as this rotates through. But the bulk of this that was supposed to hit here is staying south of the region. So it looks like we're kind of sandwiched in between. They didn't make the connection, and no light snow here on Sunday, except for a few snow showers across far northern areas on Sunday morning. And then this system continues off to the east and harmlessly and out of the way. The next system we're going to watch is on New Year's Eve. Now, the timing of this looks like it's going to come in right around the evening activity when you would be heading out for a party. So you have to make sure you pay attention to the forecast for the next couple of days. We're looking at a forecast here at day 5. I'm telling you right now, because of the things that are going on in the stratosphere, and the models are going to be in flux for a little while. They're going to be just guessing once you get beyond 4 days or so. After that point, any model depiction that shows any given solution, you can't really latch onto it. At the same time, you can't dismiss it. So once we get a little bit closer, we're going to have to use the close range stuff to really fine-tune things more so than normal over the next couple of weeks until the stratosphere works itself out. We have some that stratospheric warming that's ongoing works itself down to the troposphere. We can figure out, the models can figure out what's going on. So they're going to be a little bit goofy with what they're showing run to run. But right now there is the potential for New Year's Eve to start off as snow and sleet freezing rain. kind of a witchery mix, and then going over to rain. That's the most sensible call right now. But we'll have to watch this really closely. This could be a very warm system, just end up more rain, which would be great for any of you that are going out that night, or it could be a little bit more wintry. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. Again, this is going to have to be something that's in the shorter range. We can dictate exactly what it's going to do, but it looks like we go to rain at some point. We think, if this tracks any differently. Not over Lake Ontario like shown here, and it's down south here. We have a big difference in what it's going to show here for New Year's Eve into New Year's Day morning. But then that pulls away here on New Year's Day, and we're back to partly cloudy skies after that once we get to Wednesday, and high pressure is going to move in behind this. So we'll watch that very closely. That New Year's Eve one is the one that has the most interest in my mind right now, but just because it has some models showing a more wintry potential than that. But there's a lot of things that are undecided at this point. You'll see model runs run to run every 6 hours. It might change to something completely different. So it's going to be an influx type thing here for the next 2 weeks or so till the stratosphere gets its act together and the models can figure this out. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich. That is your outlook for December 27th, 2018.